Shout out to Chargers Unleashed, Sebastian Joseph Day. You know the vibes. We outside.
You're listening to the Chargers Unleashed podcast with your host, Dan Wolkenstein and Jake Hefner.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, is being brought to you by BetOnline, Charger Bolt Family, Rock Solid Sports Memorabilia, and Liquid Death. If this is your first time tuning into the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein, Week 7 is now upon us. Pivotal matchup coming up between the Chargers and the Seahawks right before they jump into their much needed bye from a health standpoint, considering everybody that has been banged up over the last couple of weeks. And hopefully the Chargers are going to come away with this victory on Sunday and be able to take a break and bring all of our blood pressures down just a little bit collectively as a Chargers fan base. But as we normally do for some of these big-time games, as we did last week with Haley Elwood, Dan Wolkenstein got to work on trying to figure out, well, who could we bring on the show today? And as always, I'll let Dan introduce that person, essentially, or tease that person.
Yes, we do. Happy Friday, October 21st, 2022. Jake Hefner, we got a great show today. One of the darlings of the entire Chargers preseason, offseason, mini camp, training camp. The one and only Bandy man himself, Michael Bandy, is going to be joining us here in a bit to talk about this 2022 season so far, 6 weeks in, his story, the ebbs and flows of the team so far this season, as well as this upcoming matchup. Jake, over or under? How many catches do we predict Michael Bandy is going to be getting this game, considering it looks like both Josh Palmer and Donald Parham are both not going to be playing? I'm going to put the over-under at 2.5. receptions for Michael Bandy.
I think that's kind of a weak line there, Wolkenstein. I think you need to make it a little bit more fair for Vegas. Let's keep in mind, Keenan Allen is officially, as of today, questionable for the game on Sunday. He may go, given the fact that the Chargers wide receiving core is absolutely depleted, but you realistically could be looking at Mike Williams, DeAndre Carter, Michael Bandy, Josh Moore. Jason Moore. Do they bring up John Hightower from the practice squad? Who knows what's going to happen? But this is going to be, if Keenan Allen does not end up playing, this is going to be a very different wide receiving group that you're going to see on Sunday. So given that, again, you got to do better with the line, man.
What are you taking? Over, under?
I'm going 5.5. Let's put the line at 5.5.
Let's go.
I put the line at 5.5.
Breakout season for the Bandy man.
5.5, and I'll go the over.
Okay. All right. Speaking of over, let's talk about our friends over at BetOnline before we get to our special guest, the one and only Michael Bandy here on Chargers Unleashed.
So everybody needs to remember of what BetOnline is bringing to the table right now. Obviously, with football back, UFC has a huge card coming this Saturday. Keep in mind that it is in the morning, everybody. So if you are waking up, the card is in Abu Dhabi. So if you need to get your bets in, make sure you get them now, as BetOnline remains your number one source for all of your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends as your continued source for all sports wagering info. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head on over to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right, guys, you asked for it. The Mr. Miracle Man himself, Mr. Michael Bandy, is going to be joining us here on Chargers Unleashed. Go ahead and get excited, Jake. But before we get into that, let's make sure we're staying hydrated. Make sure you got your thirst-quenching device, whatever that is near you. Jake, real quick, let's talk about Liquid Death.
Well, Dan, I have to apologize for these last several weeks that I've been doing our ad reads and talking about one of our newest sponsors in Liquid Death. I completely forgot to talk about one specific flavor. I know I had mentioned that they come in original and mango and lime, but I discovered it the other day. They've got a berry flavor that's out there. And yes, does it look like a tall boy? 100%. Is it found next to the alcohol? Not at all. But if you're looking for something to keep you hydrated, go in the water energy drink section. You're going to see these little cans of Liquid Death that may look like a tall boy. Don't let your eyes deceive you. Very good sparkling water product that they have out right now. Whatever you have near you, whether it's your Albertsons, your Ralphs, your Kroger's, your 7-Eleven, you're going to find this. And if you're looking for a way to keep yourself hydrated, there's none other better way to do it than Liquid Death. Go on over to liquiddeath.LAFB.com and get yourself hydrated today.
Michael Bandy, number 83 for your Los Angeles Chargers. Coming up next on Chargers Unleashed. Week 7 of the Chargers 2022 season, sitting at 4-2 with the Seahawks coming into town. Opportunity for this Chargers team to get to 5-2 headed into their much-needed bye week. We've been hopeful and looking forward to this discussion for months now. One of the biggest fan favorites on this entire Chargers roster. Number 83 on the jersey, but might as well be 7-11 because he seems like he's always open. The Bandy man himself, Michael Bandy, joins us on Chargers Unleashed. Michael, thanks so much for hopping on so close to the matchup. How are you?
Good. Thank you guys for having me on. Super excited to do this and, answer a couple of questions.
Oh, we love it. We love it. First and foremost, we're going to get into all kinds of team performance so far this season, your journey and your opportunities so far, the Week 7 matchup. But you just came off of practice Friday before your game against the Seahawks. How was practice? What were some of your takeaways from that?
Practice was good. It was high energy today, and that was kind of the goal heading into this short week is just to, continue to have high energy and attack each day. And I think we did that this week, heading into some meetings tomorrow and a little bit of an off day and preparing for the game, resting up and getting healthy.
Love it. Love it. All right. So 4-2 so far this season, taking into account all of the adversity and the injuries and stuff that the offense has faced in particular through 6 weeks. How would you assess just the overall offense's performance and maybe then the wide receiving room in particular so far this season?
I think it's really important for us to prepare each week, as in all of us, like we're the starters. So I think it's kind of a next guy up mentality. And I think the way we prepare with Coach Beatty and our offensive coaches, they do a really good job of preparing us each and every week. And, one guy goes down, we try to, not be able to see the difference with the next guy coming up. So, just staying ready and every day at practice, getting a little bit better.
And I guess looking at the idea of, your story is honestly pretty incredible. And you certainly opened eyes during the offseason, both at camp and in the preseason. Headed into the season, the wide receiving core was super deep. Fast forward, though, You've been elevated to the active roster, made multiple impactful plays for this team when called upon. Just talk to us kind of about your journey this year, particular, staying ready, making the best of your opportunities, and just what this has been for you so far in 2022.
Yeah, like I said, I prepare each week like I'm the starting wide receiver, whether that's Keenan's spot, Josh's spot, any spot in the offense. That's kind of how I've always been, since always, really. So, it really comes down to preparation. And if you stay ready each and every week, when your number gets called, you'll be ready to go.
All right, Jake, got the next one.
Sorry, I literally just realized I was on mute there. I apologize.
No worries.
One of, if not the biggest team standouts of the preseason at camp, Michael, I kid you not, we're standing there on the sidelines, Dan, myself, and the rest of the reporters. And whether it's 7-on-7 drills or 11-on-11s, we're looking down the field. We're like, did he catch it again? That's Bandy again. Okay, we're making notes. But your performance caught eyes of Chargers fans everywhere, and social media blew up so far to the point when it came down to final cuts that there was an uproar that people said that they were literally going to boycott the season if you were not part of the 53-man roster. It was literally to that degree. But looking at your journey and your success this year, along with the wide receiver depth of this team, how has it been for you personally, just navigating all the ebbs and flows of the roster construction and playing time?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is, the business side, and it kind of goes over my head. I just try to go out there and, make as many plays as I can and give myself the best shot, to be able to play on Sundays. And that's kind of what I try to do during camp and continue to do during practice. And, everything will work itself out. And some of that other stuff, it's a little bit bigger and a little over my head. So I'm just going to go out and play some ball.
We're talking to Michael Bandy, number 83 for your Los Angeles Chargers. And I guess, like, take us to kind of like that mentality. Like, you're making play after play after play, seemingly getting first down after first down. Even during the regular season, you're making 2 huge catches in one game. You're making a huge third down catch last game. Like, what are your goals for yourself and this team this season? Like, are you kind of like, all right, you know what? Screw it. Get me on the active roster. I'm not leaving. You know, is that going to be your mentality? Like, what are you trying to get done? Like, what do you got to prove to be like, I'm your guy?
You know, just keep making plays. I mean, there's not much to it. If you keep making plays, your number's going to get called eventually. And, you know, that's kind of my mindset. And just, you know, again, I keep saying it, staying ready, because that's really all it is. When you're in this position, you just got to stay ready. And, you know, we got a really deep room and a lot of really good guys on and off the field. And I love learning with them and playing with them. And, you know, I'm going to continue to be with this team and, you know, hopefully take it all the way.
And during the preseason, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I'm sorry. We talked about the adversity and headwinds that the team has overcome so far. And it's like pretty wild, the list, whether it's injuries, decisions that have come out. You know, 7 weeks in, even at 4-2, many folks in the media as well as fans like have voiced some criticism or maybe some concerns with either its play calling or not enough shots downfield or maybe some of the coaching decisions. What in your eyes are some of the areas that the team can improve upon to get to where this team needs to go?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, we're still early in the season. I think we're still meshing and growing as a team. And, you know, as a team, we have to keep our head down and just keep going each practice, each day, whether that's meetings on the field, you know, on our off time, just doing what we can in order to make the team better and everybody doing their part. And, you know, injuries are a part of it, and we just got to keep it pushing. We talk about it all the time. You know, a guy goes down, you got to keep it moving and, you know, fill that role.
Michael, during the preseason, you would explain that your growth as a receiver was due to the camaraderie of the wide receiver group. And with you now getting more starting opportunities these past few weeks, what have been some of the things that you continue to learn to make yourself a better player?
I mean, you could talk about anything. You could talk about film study, you could on the field, footwork, catching the ball. I mean, you know, I can improve in any facet of the game. And, you know, I'm just trying to pick little parts at a time and every day just get a little bit better.
And your quarterback, Justin Herbert, obviously does not play favorites when it comes to game time. Basically, if you're open, he's going to get you the ball, throw it in your direction. And he's already shown a comfortability level with you. Explain how the trust level has grown progressively with you and Justin over the last couple of years.
Well, I can't speak for him, but, you know, I think he's an amazing quarterback, and he goes through his progressions, his reads, and he's got a wicked arm. He's super talented, and, you know, he finds the open guy. So, you know, if you're open and you continue to make plays, he's going to find you.
I got to ask you, we're wrapping up with Michael Bandy of your Los Angeles Chargers, and going through the last couple of weeks that you guys have had, whether it's like the crazy game against Cleveland or last week, you know, when you win games like that, where it's just like what Coach talked about, like tough, rugged, like what's the mentality where like you win a game like that, everyone's exhausted, but yet you still like, you know, there's a lot more you can do to improve. Like, how are you feeling when that game, it's 0, you win the game? Like, are you like excited? Are you like, man, I got a lot of work to do, like I'm pissed? Like, what's kind of like that balance that you guys have?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think, you know, it takes a little bit to process a close one like that, and then you're a little bit excited, and then you realize, all right, I got to sit down and, you know, learn from what we did wrong. So, you know, hopefully we can spread out the score a little bit in the future. But that's really, yeah, you feel a little bit of everything, and, you know, it's good to come out with the win, but there's a lot to learn from in every game, win or loss, and that's how you got to treat it.
And week 7 against Seattle, huge one, you know, with your bye week immediately following. How important is it to get a win headed into the bye week? And like, what would that mean for you guys to get into week 9, 5-2, atop the AFC West, and probably getting several of your teammates back?
No, I think it's really important. I think every game's super important, and, you know, heading into the bye week, you want to go off on a strong note, get the guys back, get healthy, and, you know, keep it pushing, keep it moving, and treat every week to, you know, like it is a life of its own.
And coming into a big matchup this week against Seattle, Michael, I know that you had mentioned that you guys overall feel like you can improve. Obviously, Monday night, the offense wasn't really where it could have been, just given everything considered as far as how that game was going. But just looking into this matchup, what are some of the key takeaways that you as a wide receiver group or as an offense as a whole know that you need to do in order to come away with a victory here?
I think we got to, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of things we can do. We got to be able to run the ball, throw the ball down the field. Just execute, I think, is the big exclamation point on that. We have a great game plan. We all believe in it. We believe in our coaches and each other. And I think we just got to go out there on Sunday and just execute what we're asked to do.
I love it. Michael Bandy of your Los Angeles Chargers, number 83. The Bandy Man joins us here on Chargers Unleashed. Michael, I know you got a game here on Sunday. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. What's going to be happening with you and your life between now and game day? And if you get the win or when you get wins in general, what is your celebration tactic? Like, do you go down to San Diego? Like, are you going to be watching the Padres game in the background? Like, what's kind of your weekend look like?
I am not a Padres fan, unfortunately.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not a Padres. I'm a Dodgers fan, so my heart was hurting last week. But,
as were many of the Chargers fans.
Yeah, big Dodgers fan. But yeah, now until game time, I spend some time with my lady and Friday night, and then study some plays, watch some film today and tomorrow, and then rest up Sunday morning. And we're over at the stadium pretty early, and hopefully we get the win and we can take a little breath for a couple of days before we get back to work.
And if you do / when you do get the victories, what is your victory meal of choice?
Man, it's different every week.
Because some people have like the one meal that they do every time, and I'm like, that's a lot of meals.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully it's every week, right? So that's eating it a lot. But yeah, I'm different every week. It's whatever I'm craving. I'm usually pretty hungry after the game, so I'll take anything at that point.
As you should be. Well, hey, the Chargers fans, everyone is very hungry for a Chargers victory, as the team is as well. 5-2, hopefully coming soon. Michael, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks so much for being a part of this. We'll talk to you soon. Best of luck on Sunday, and have a good rest of the afternoon, all right?
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys. Go Bulls.
Of course. Thanks, Michael.